Ebinu's world crumbled around her as the realization of her actions hit her like a tidal wave. Now faced with the consequences of her arrogance, Ebinu had to decide whether she could salvage her future or if it was too late to undo the damage she had done. Once upon a time, in a small village lived a young maiden named Ebinu. Ebinu had always been a beautiful young girl who was admired by virtually everybody who ever met her. She had grown into a beautiful young woman that she was the center of attraction amongst men. But Ebinu was arrogant, disrespectful, and rude. She spoke rudely to people and was quick to talk anybody off. That made her a terrible person because once people knew of her behavior, they always ran away. Her mother was worried about her daughter's behavior, especially as she noticed that people who used to admire her daughter were now avoiding her. Then, one day, while she was visiting a friend in the town, she overheard some men discussing in a pepper soup parlor. It broke her heart that her daughter was the topic of discussion. As she eavesdropped on the conversation, the men spoke of Ebinu's haughty attitude, how she had turned away friends and potential suitors. With her arrogance, the town was buzzing with stories of Ebinu's bad behavior, and her once favorable reputation was now tainted. Ebinu's mother, worried by the news, decided to confront her daughter about the rumor. She hoped that Ebinu would change her ways before it was too late. However, Ebinu dismissed her mother's concerns with a wave of her hand, convinced that her beauty would always attract admirers. Unbothered, Ebinu continued her disrespectful behavior, and her actions only worsened. She targeted an old man in the village, mocking him for his apparent poverty and belittling him in public. The villagers were appalled by Ebinu's cruelty, and whispers of her disdainful conduct spread very fast in the village. One day, driven by a desire for a more glamorous and fulfilling life, Ebinu decided to leave the village and try her luck in the city. Her stunning beauty quickly drew the attention of a wealthy man named Efosa. He was captivated by her looks and approached her with the intention of making her his wife. Ebinu, thrilled at the prospect of a wealthy suitor, eagerly accepted Efosa's proposal. The thought of a luxurious life in the city blinded her to the reality of Efosa's identity. Little did she know that Efosa was the son of the old man she had treated so disrespectfully in the village. As their wedding day approached, Ebinu reveled in the opulence and grandeur that surrounded her. However, fate had a different plan for her. On the eve of the wedding, as she prepared to walk down the aisle, a messenger arrived with a letter addressed to her from Efosa. Trembling, Ebinu opened the letter, and her heart sank as she read Efosa's words. He revealed his true identity and explained that he could not marry someone who had treated his father with such disdain. Ebinu's world crumbled around her as the realization of her actions hit her like a tidal wave. Now faced with the consequences of her arrogance, Ebinu had to decide whether she could salvage her future or if it was too late to undo the damage she had done. The threat before her was strong and real, but redemption beckoned, and she had to find a way to humble herself and make amends for the sake of her own happiness.